Hi, Tracy here with BibleJournalingMinistries.com, and in this video I'm going to show you how to spiral bind your paperback book, including how to determine what size coil you need as well. If you're ready to spiral bound your paperback book, let's go ahead and get started. You are going to need the Cinch machine or any kind of binding machine that you have. So that's what I have, is the Cinch machine. That's how I'm going to be binding mine. Now, you can also hole punch it as well, or just take it to somewhere to get it done for you. If you have to hole punch this by hand and then try to bind coils together, that just might be a little more work than you want. So I use a Cinch machine. You're going to need the inside of your pages and the cover. You'll need a paper trimmer, some washi tape, or some clear tape. It's up to you, whatever you want to use. I went ahead and washi taped the edges of the sticky pages that I had. So I had a cover that was sticky, and then I had a back page that was also sticky that I wanted to keep. So I did go ahead and washi tape those. Now I have my cover, and all I want to do with my cover is cut along the edge of I want to cut right where that binding is. So not where I've been folding it, but rather right where that binding is. That's where I want to cut. So I'm going to go ahead and place my cover in, and I'm going to get it right against the spine. So right where the spine starts is where I'm going to cut. It might be easier to look at it this way. And it would be right where that glue starts is where I would actually do the cutting. So I don't think that's any easier. So I'm just going to cut the spine right off. So for measurement's sake, let me show you what the measurements are for that. If you have one of these books as well, we are looking at exactly 6 inches. So at 6, which makes sense because this book is 6 by 9. So exactly at 6 inches is where you want to cut your spine off. So it's free. Yay, it's free. I still have some glue and stuff on this page, but I think what I'll do is I'll reinforce that with some washi tape. And then I'm going to cut this spine off here at, again, 6 inches. And now you're welcome to keep this spine if you want to. You might want to create a bookmark out of it, but I won't be keeping mine. Okay. Now that I have my spine off, I do have some areas on this where some of the cover is starting to come up because of the heat that I applied to it. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and put some washi tape across this. And I think it will look really cool. So I'm going to start with the word created. Now this washi tape is Illustrated Faith washi tape, and if it's still available, I will link up to that. If it's not, it'll just be a link to their washi tape that they currently have. I love the washi tape that the Illustrated Faith ladies put out because it is so cool. Okay, so there is that page. And I think that looks really awesome. That's going to be great. And I'm going to do it on this side as well. And it's just against, and this will also help reinforce this page since we'll be using this, these pages, and they'll move around a lot in our spiral book. Some of you guys also might be wondering, what is this thing that I have here on my page? This is actually a pen holder, and you can purchase these little pen holders. I purchased them on eBay. Amazon might have them. Again, if I can find the link, I will link up for you. Okay, so I have this, my front, my back cover, right? All right, so now it's time to punch the holes. So to punch the holes, the first thing that I want to do, just take my cover and put that like that. That way I don't forget when I do my binding that needs to go exactly like this. So the back always goes on the front. Whenever you're binding, it goes facing the front, because what happens is when you're done, you just flip this over and it hides the coil. So that's my plan. I'm going to get the cinch tool here. I'm going to start by doing my first punch. And the first punch that you do always with the cinch machine is with the guides all the way. So this is a guide here, and you push the guide all the way forward, okay? And then you place your pages on the guide, and then you punch. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and punch the rest of these pages, but before I do that, I just want to make sure that you know you need to have all your pages stacked and lined up exactly where you want them. So these ones here that are curled, they're really harder. They're much harder to do. So sometimes if they're too curled like this, you might have to do them like one page at a time. It just depends. So you just want to make sure that they're all lined up and ready to go when you punch them. You want to make sure that they're not folded over at all. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and fast forward through this video. I'm going to do all of these pages. I'll come back right as when I'm ready to adjust this guide and the pegs. Okay, I am back, and the first thing I'm doing before I move that guide is I want to create some extra pages in my book. So what I'd like to do is have places of color to mark things like new months and to mark things like recipes and all of that. So all I'm doing right now is creating 6 by 9 sheets of paper. And I got about 6 of them. I'm not sure if I'll use them all, but I have them. So those are ready to insert into my book wherever I want to insert them when I get to the binding process. So at this point, I'm just going to go finish this guide here. Okay, so I have these ready to go. And the next thing I need to do is move my peg to finish off the rest of the binding. So because this is 9 inches long, because the book is 6 by 9, 6 inches this way, 9 inches this way, I need to move my peg number 6 in my cinch. And then what I do is I pull this guide all the way back. So you can see peg number 6 is pulled and the guide is pulled all the way back. So now what I can do is I can insert this here, and you know you have the right measurements here because you can get that. There's a little guide here. Let me push it down. That will hold your paper in place with the cinch. It's right here. So that way it doesn't move and you get a precise hole punch. Okay, it's really awesome. I'm going to go through and finish the rest of this book. Now, to do that, I just go ahead and push that little punch in, right, to hold the paper in place to where I want it. And now I have my number 6 peg punched out, and I can just, voila. In this process, as I go, I might look through here and say, oh, where's a good place to put one of these little pieces of yellow paper? And I think there might be a great place here with this page. So this page here is at the end of a month. I can put that here, so then I know my next, as I turn the page, I will have my recipes right here, new recipes to make. An alternative one is I could put it right here, and then I have new recipes to make, and then the recipes. That might be better. I'll do that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and finish off the rest of these hole punches, and I'm going to insert my little yellow colored cardstock wherever I think it will be helpful. Any divider that I think might be helpful. Okay, so I'm going to do that, and then I will be right back. Okay, I am back and actually only used 4 of those dividers. So I have a divider here at the front in the month of June here. Oh, and if you guys are looking for these printables, I'll link up to the blog post below where you can download these. They work perfect in this book. They're exactly the right size. So I have one there. I have one journal for the month of that month. I have a divider for this month. And then I have for my recipes. So awesome. Now it's time to bind. As it relates to the binding, the first thing I have to decide is what is the size of the coil that I need. So to decide what the size of your coil is, you need to measure your book to see how thick it is. So for me, my book is about a little over 1/2 of an inch. Let's see, in terms of width, yeah, it's a little, it's almost exactly 1/2 of an inch, but it's about 1/2 an inch. So for 1/2 an inch, my coil needs to be, I believe, 9/16 of an inch, but I don't have a 9/16 of an inch coil, so I'm gonna go size up, or at least a couple size up, and I have this one here that is a 5/8 inch. So I will also link up below to a chart that shows you what kind of coil you need, what size coil you need for the size of your book. So since this needs to be coiled, I'm using this old binding that I have, this coil that I have. It's by a brand named Zutter, and if I can, obviously I'll link up below for any of these tools that I'm using. So this Zutter company, see, what did I pay for this back in the day? $5 back in the day for these wires, and I've had them for so long, but I don't know if they're still available. They may be, but if I have, I will just link up to some coils for you so that you have something. So to place the coils onto the cinch machine, you just take this side here that is the closed side and just place that right down here, right on there. Now I don't trim my coils until I have placed my binding down, have placed my book on the coils. So I'm going to place my book on the coils, and what I'm going to do, again, I have the bottom on the top, so the bottom is facing the top, okay, and then I'm going to start from the bottom. So I'm just going to start from the bottom and feed the coils into, feed the holes into the coils, okay. Pretty easy to do this part. I think with the whole process, you just want to be careful that you don't accidentally unorganize your pages, get them out of order. If you get them out of order, then it's going to be too hard to get them back in order. So here's our cover. It's so cute. I just love that cover. And then the back. There we go. So now I have my binding on the coil. So now I know which coil I need to chop in half. It's this coil on the end. So the end coil is the one you need to clip off or cut in half. So I'll just take my scissors here. Hopefully these are strong enough. And I'm just going to cut this wire right in half. I should get some wire cutter. Maybe I'll bend it. There we go. Bends right off. Okay. Wire cutters would be preferred, but I didn't have them with me. Okay, so now I need to adjust my cinch machine to the right coil size. So I'm a 5/8 inch coil, so I'm just going to turn my little knob. You have to push it and you have to turn it. There we go. And now it's at the right size. So what I like to do is I like to start in the center of my book, and I push my book against the edge, against the cinch machine's edge. Okay, all the way to the back. And then I push down, and then I do this side over here, the bottom side, and then I'll come back on the top side. Alright, so now I have a cinched edge Okay, and then I can take my cover and turn it around and hide the coil, the edges of the ends of the coil. Ta-da! Well, let's see. Oh, my coil is a little bit off. There we go. Get in there. Okay, now it's better. Alright, so now I have my journal and it's all spiral bound. And now I can come in here and every week work on my food logs, and I can move back and forth my planner and all of that. So I hope this video was helpful to you in learning how to spiral bound your books, your paperback books. If you have any questions, please put it in the comments and I'd be happy to answer them for you. You have a wonderful day and God bless you. Goodbye.